Stephen, how good is it to finally have Bongani in, and what are the chances of him featuring tomorrow night? I know he's just arrived, but he is in the squad.
Yes, very excited to have him available. I think it's been a long 2 weeks for him, in quarantine, alone in a flat in Glasgow. Desperate to be involved, so I'm sure it's been a long 2 weeks for the player himself. He trained for the first time today, which was fantastic. We managed to get some a running machine and a bike and some dumbbells to his apartment, so he's been ticking over and doing a certain level of training. But obviously today he'll certainly feel that session because the tempo was high. We've just trained for just over an hour, so I'm sure he'll feel that later, but he's happy, he's smiling, and it's great to have him finally with us.
Hi Stephen.
Hello.
With each week it goes by, Stephen, and this unbeaten records, how jealously are you beginning to gab that as the weeks go on?
Look, we just take each game as it comes. We want the run to last as long as possible. I don't think it's realistic to expect us to go and win every game, but we're playing well, we're in a good level, confidence is high, belief's high, and it's about moving on from a positive win at the weekend against Livingston and facing this challenge in isolation. It'll be a tough game, but a game we're certainly looking forward to, and it's coming at a good time because of the place we're in.
Hi Stephen, just wanted to ask you about your thoughts on Yanis Hadji. Gary said after the game at the weekend about, he's really starting to perform in terms of his 8 assists this season. It's just about giving him that platform to keep trying those adventurous passes. And a game like tomorrow night, how happy are you that he's getting the right balance in terms of his contributions?
Well, Yanis is in a good place. I think he's really settled here now in Glasgow. I know his girlfriend's over now as well, so he's really coming into the place smiling and happy and really enjoying his football. We wanted him in here full time in the summer because we could see that quality, we could see that ability, and he's certainly someone who we see who can open the door. In the past we've had certain games and certain phases throughout our journey where we found it hard to break teams down, and he is one tool in our armoury that is very effective and has been since the beginning of the season. It's my job to make sure that we try and keep him fresh and use him at the right times because he's still young, he's still developing into a man, he's still finding his body. But in terms of the talent, we're delighted to have him. And he can open the door at any given moment if you give him time and space. So he's very useful for us to have him in the squad. In terms of tomorrow, I won't be giving anything away in terms of the 11 I'll decide to play, but Yanis Hadji is certainly in a good place.
Hi Stephen, just on sort of dynamics of this Europa League group, were you to win tomorrow night and then go into the Benfica double-header in 6 points, would that sort of exceed your expectations that you had before when the draw was made, or was that sort of what you expected?
Look, I think here at Rangers we go into every game and try and win every game where we face, and we'll certainly do that in the 6 group games. When the draw was made, I think it was an exciting group. All the teams that we come up against, they're going to have different strengths and face a different challenge for us. But the plan was always to get off to a positive start, to go to Liège and try and take maximum points. I think we delivered that performance. And you're always got to try and look to take maximum points in your home games, but it's still going to be a right good challenge tomorrow. A good team are coming in, an aggressive team coming forward with quality players, so we have to make sure that the game plan's executed really well tomorrow if we are to have any idea to get into 6 points.
Stephen.
Hello.
Ray Defoe spoke at the weekend about his desire, to start matches on, a regular basis, such as the competition for places up front. How do you deal with that? Do you have to kind of rotate to keep everybody fresh, or do you tailor your striker based on opposition? How do you make those decisions?
Well, I think it's fantastic to have them options. I think it's the first time that I've had this luxury where we've had this volume of strikers available. So I'm hoping we stay in competitions for a long time, so we have a big volume of games to keep them all happy in terms of games. But this is the challenge of the job, and the job that I get paid to do is to pick players when they're in a good place, when they're in good form, when I see them training and working hard and showing me on a daily basis on the training pitch that they're ready to start games. Jermaine's had quite a few injuries of late, when he was playing too much. So he's certainly a player we have to manage and bring in and out at the right time. He understands that. It was a good performance from him at the weekend with a world-class goal. So he's finally in the place this season where we've wanted him for a long time. So he's ready, and I know he's ready. So that's a fantastic place for me to be in, to have Jermaine Defoe fully fit and ready to go. It doesn't make sense to ask Jermaine Defoe to go Thursday, Sunday at his age and where he's at and the injuries he's had of late. So we've made a decision to give him a bit of a different programme and a tailored programme that's a bit different from the rest, so he can put in performances like he did at the weekend.
Hi Stephen,
Hello.
Just a question on the run again. As each game passes and each win is secured, the bar continues to rise. I just wonder how you continue to deliver as the expectations continue to get higher, and how important it is for you to keep your players channeled in the job at hand at Rangers, regardless of what else is happening elsewhere.
Well, look, I think there's a certain part of your question that we in the building and in the squad we can't control. We can't control if people from the outside want to raise the bar and raise expectation and talk. Well, we need to just focus on our job in hand, and that's to win as many football matches as we can. It's my job to guard and protect the players in the squad from the noise from the outside, whether it be positive, whether it be negative, because we all know where we're playing football. We all know what type of reaction we get from game to game, from result to result. So it's my job to make sure the team stay in this place, stay hungry, stay humble, and guard from complacency, and we just attack each game individually and give it our best shot.
Afternoon, Stephen.
Afternoon,
my question kind of leads into your last answer to Rallan, really. Your counterpart across the city yesterday spoke about the hysteria around his job and the scrutiny that comes with working in this city. You've obviously captained the most successful side in England, you've captained the England national team. How would you describe the peculiarities of the pressures that come with working in Glasgow for one of these two huge football clubs?
Well, I don't think you'd have to be a rocket scientist to work it out that whoever's in the best form, you seem to get a bit more peace in terms of the scrutiny in the media and the questions that are fired at you. You get a couple of indifferent results, and that certainly changes very, very quickly, and the heat comes in a different direction. That's the way it is. That's what myself and Neil, or myself and Brendan prior to Neil, have to live with. That's the job we're in. That's never going to change. I'm sure it's been the same for many, many years, and it will be in the future. I accept that. It is what it is at the moment. Obviously, the team are doing well. But we need to keep continuing that. But it is what it is.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello, David.
The Poznan versus Porto match was very open and quite chaotic at times in terms of Poznan looked to really like the game stretched and pour forward. How important is it for the team tomorrow night to retain control of the match and not get sucked into a game that's really open and wild?
Yeah, I assume you're alluding to the Benfica game in game one, which was very open. Poznan, I think, were in the game for long periods, if not the majority. I think the game was only took away from them in the final stages of injury time. I've watched that game extremely closely at both teams, but obviously at the moment my focus mainly is on Lech Poznan. They had chances in the game. There could have been more goals in the game. It was a very open game. It's very similar to watching a game of basketball where it was attack one end, attack the other. So they were two excellent sides on show. But yet, of course, I think obviously looking at what type of game plan I'm going to be looking for, it's very important that we stop counter-attacks, that we're really, really organised and we've got a real good shape about us. Because if there's any space or we don't defend properly and we're not aggressive out of possession tomorrow, they're a team that can certainly hurt you.